Well, hello and welcome to Karting Live TV, and a new venue for us and a new country, and unlike the UK, some fantastic weather. Now, those who've watched my introduction to these paddock walks over the course of the year know I've often been let down. I've had no friends, but I have brought a friend with me from the UK. Joe Bradley, tell me all about the Rotax UAE Invitational.
Well, I actually don't know very much about it, but I know a man who does, Mr. Henry Baudet. Henry and I in the box for the UAE Rotax Invitational this weekend. Henry, familiar paddock insofar as we've got all of our normal Rotax classes. However, there are a lot of new faces, certainly for me. I mean, tell us a little bit about, you've been around this series now for a few years. So what am I going to expect?
Well, for those of you in karting, you'll know the colours of the UAE Falcons, some of the most recognisable colours in all of Rotax karting. But no one's ever been able to see where the UAE race and how the drivers from the UAE qualify for events like the Grand Finals until now. Over the course of what we hope is going to be a long and successful season with Karting Live TV, we can start here, the home of Rotax karting in the Middle East, the Al Ain Raceway, twice a venue for the Grand Finals. We'll move on from there. We'll go to the Dubai Kartdrome, where it seems all the Formula One drivers spend their time off. We actually go and race at a Formula One circuit, Yas Marina, which is incredible, as well as the Al Fossan Sports Complex. Quite simply, it's where you want to be when the European winter hits. The sun is shining over here. You're going to see a lot of very, very competitive racing by a lot of very well-known drivers from Europe, the United Kingdom in particular, but also local drivers, Emirati drivers, the cream of the crop of the Middle East and North Africa. It's a really exciting championship. Last year was a record-breaking entry season in terms of entries. This year looks to be even bigger still. Can't wait.
Look, Henry, there are going to be a lot of faces in this paddock that are new to me, a lot of personalities. There's a lots of drama, lots of soap operas. How about you and I have a wander into that paddock? You can introduce me to everybody. Guy Sheffield here is the man behind the UAE Karting Championships, the Rotax Karting Championships, and this weekend's Rotax Invitational. Guy, firstly, can you even believe that here we are about to kick off the new season, 25 into 26?
Yeah, the summer has just absolutely flown by. So yeah, we're as usual scrabbling around trying to get things prepared, and you know, obviously the teams are in the same situation as the drivers. Yep. But a lot of them have done European stuff. Some of them maybe have just been driving here, but it's gone like that. Yeah.
Our first visit to Al and the Karting Live TV viewers, thank you for inviting us. They're going to love this weekend's coverage. Tell us a little bit about the track. You've been here quite a while now, haven't you? Been sort of overseeing things.
Yes, yeah, I've over 18 years now. When I arrived, the circuit was just being set up. 2007 was its inception. It was a bit of a baptism of fire by hosting the Grand Finals, the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in that year. And yeah, I can't believe it's been 18 years. Again, the time just keeps going. But yeah, we've seen a great amount of progress with the championship. Had its ups and downs, obviously the difficult time through COVID, but since then, a real resurgence. So yeah, we're in a very good place and we're very pleased with it.
That was exactly what I was going to ask you. Where is Rotax Max Karting now in comparison to when you first came here?
Yeah, it has been a bit up and down. There was quite a number of drivers, but UAE over the years is quite transient for the expats, for the visitors. So there's an influx and then people leave and what have you. But just the last few years, we've really had a stable platform in all the categories really. Obviously, the micro and mini, the feeder classes, have only started a bit more recently, and that's really helped to build the junior and the senior grids and DD2 after that.
I mean, you yourself are an expat. I was going to say there's a lot of European involvement here at the Invitational. Do you feel that is a good thing to bring those Europeans over to race in your championship?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the level of the competitors in the UAE we've seen has really skyrocketed in recent years, and a large amount of that is due to exposure doing events in Europe and the UK, where you know the hard racing is done, and they've brought that back with them. And so and the championship itself over here, the UAE RMC and the other events associated with it, has really attracted some proper competitive drivers over the last few years as well. They're looking to, to come out to places like this at this time of the year, nice season, and mix it with a bit of a holiday. So
Excellence breeds excellence is what they say. So the Invitational kicks off the season. We're back here in 2 weeks for round one. Tell us a little bit about the series and where we're going to see, what tracks we're going to visit.
yeah, we're blessed really in the UAE with a whole host of real top international venues. So we're going to kick off at Al Ain Raceway here. Our second round in November, we're going to go to Al Fassan International Sports Resort, which is a favourite of a number of the drivers for the layout there. We're visiting there twice during the season. We're back here in December with the only, it's a bit of an unusual 2-day event. So we've got 3 heats on the first day and followed by pre-finals and finals on the last day. We visit Dubai Kartdrome in January. We're at the sort of season highlight Yas Marina circuit on part of the main F1 track in February. And then we've got Dubai and Al Fassan, and we land back here in Al Ain at the end.
It's all exciting stuff, Guy, and it's all on Karting Live TV. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you, Joe.
The 2024 Senior Rotax Grid in the UAE Rotax Challenge was easily the most competitive it's ever been. Upwards of 40 drivers competing at one time for a place not only in the main event, but just to get there itself. Our champion last year, Omar Ghannoum, you're back. Omar, what's the off-season been like? Because you're preparing to go and represent the UAE in the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I did a couple races out in Europe, in Belgium, which went quite well. And obviously, grand finals in December, my first grand finals, and looking forward to representing the UAE. And in terms of off-season preparation, honestly, just going to the gym, relaxing, had a good summer, and now, back at it with the Invitational, so I don't lose my mojo with the kart. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And I mean, talk about you being in this championship for some time.
Yeah.
How has the level improved over the last couple of years, especially in Senior Rotax?
Yeah, well, my last season in Senior Rotax was my 3rd season, I'm pretty sure, and my first ever senior season, which was my first racing season, was 3 years before that, and I'm pretty sure the largest grid we got was under 20 drivers, and, last season to have over 70 drivers, I'm pretty sure, is pretty amazing to see the progress UAE has had, and the growth the Paddock has seen. So to win against such a difficult grid it was an honor, and wouldn't have happened without these guys, obviously.
But now you come in for the first time as the number 1 seed, as the defending champion. Does that give you any more pressure? Do you feel any more pressure that you're the driver that everybody else has to beat?
Nah, not really. No.
And what do you think it's going to be like the first time you go to the grand finals with the national colours on your race suit?
Well, I mean, I've been told that the UAE colours are pretty popular in the paddocks, so it'll be pretty cool representing them. And obviously it's my first time, don't know how it is, but I'm ready. I'm going to be doing some preparation there, hopefully. Yeah.
So let's look at this weekend, the Rotax Invitational. Again, near 30 drivers entered. Who is your main competition? Who are you going to have to beat to win this weekend's Invitational?
I mean, there are several drivers who've shown that they can get the job done in terms of pace. Now, since we're all so close, I guess it's all down to the driver and their abilities in terms of, scrapping, all of that.
And you're doing some coaching as well, because obviously with the XL Motorsport team, we've got drivers in every class. Who are you coaching, and how are you sort of giving your experience to the younger generation now?
Well, I'm coaching Saif Al Khalifa. He's a Micromax driver. His father is a close friend of mine, my father's. And honestly, we have the connection as both Arabs to, bond together, and I'm just showing him what I've learned in my past few years on how to be pretty much a champion. That's what I'm training him to be.
Because, of course, when you first came to the UK, you had a bit of a nickname. You were known as Mr. B, because you were always in the B final. You've shaken that off, because that's a lot of hard work, isn't it? You put in a lot of work yourself on track as well as off track.
Yeah, I mean, not the brightest of names, Mr. V, but I think I've worked enough to, no longer be a B final merchant. So glad I'm no longer known as that. But no, a lot of work's been put in, and to finally show it on track it's great.
Well, there we go. No longer Mr. B, he's in fact number A, number 301, the number 1 plate in senior Rotax, Omar Ganoum.
The DD2 class is a major part of the UAE Championship. It's perhaps a new class to our Karting Live TV viewers. It hasn't really took off in the United Kingdom, I've got to say, but it's basically a gearbox, a very basic gearbox kart. And Danny Brand here, you're going to tell us all the differences. I mean, Danny, this is basically exactly the same chassis, what we would see on a Rotax Max
Not really.
class. Not really?
Not really.
Tell us the differences.
The difference with the chassis is that it's really built for this engine.
Right.
Because the drive is through the engine. So you have like a mechanism to do a clutch on the axle. So no chain, no lubricants spitting around.
So you've basically got a small gearbox, a two ratio gearbox underneath the motor.
Yes, and then you have clean hands for the mechanics.
Yes.
And then you have your mechanism to shift on the steering. And nowadays, of course, that's really important for the new kids because everything is pedal shift in the cars.
Yes.
So it's a really good thing to learn to hold your hands on the steering wheel and shift everything.
Yeah.
So no clutch you have to engage or whatever. It's just a basic clutch mechanism. So you can just put it in first gear, put the throttle down, and then you just roll out.
Now, the major difference to perhaps what you see on a single-seater race car is the paddle shift, which there is two either side. Normally on a race car, the left-hand side would be for changing up, the right-hand side be changing down. However, it's different here. The left-hand side is first, the right-hand side is second, is that right?
Yes, that's right, because it's a cable mechanism.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can only go one way. So it's not that you can go all the way up, up, up. It's just one way. You go up and you go down.
Yes, yeah. That makes a lot of sense when an expert tells me. The other major feature, which isn't exactly a different feature that we see on normal gearbox karting, but we have front wheel braking. Yes. We've got some beautiful looking discs and calipers there. That would change, I would imagine, Danny, the attitude of the driver and the way that the car behaves.
Yeah, it's basically in between the Rotax Senior and a shifter kart.
Right. Yeah, it's so very much.
Yes. So the only difference is then you have still a clutch and you still you have only the pedal shifting.
So from the race engineering sense, do we change ratios for different tracks, etc.?
Yes, you have a combined sprockets, and that can ideally do for every track you have a different ratio.
So you're really looking upon the driver that likes to tinker and engineer as well as just drive?
Yes, of course, and the faster you want to go on the straights, the longer gear you want, but then you lose bottom. It's
Yes,
something what
yeah,
the driver needs to feel.
How much different with regards to lap time are we going to see from DD2 class karts to the senior Rotaxes?
In this kind of tracks with long straights, you can be like half a second to a second quicker, but yeah, it depends a bit on the level of the drivers.
So from a sense of, if I wanted to come along and say, Danny, I want to do DD2 because I want a little bit more from my driving. Yeah. Is this the sort of kart that, you know, a guy like me in my garage at home, this is a kind of an owner-driver kind of car, or is it a little bit more technical than that?
No, it's really made to really user-friendly.
So privacy is a welcome.
It's a perfect thing for that.
Yeah, brilliant. How long have you been around this business then?
From 2004 already.
Right, well, time is ticking.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, Danny, and thanks for that insight into DD2s. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
So, chatting to Danny Brand there, and then Tony Hogg and I got into a conversation, and I found me asking a lot of questions, Tony, and I think it's of great value to actually get you to answer these for the viewers out there. I was talking about the aspect of racing, and I think our conversation started with, so how many gear changes are here at Al-Ain?
Yeah, probably around about 38, 36 gear changes, something like on a lap. So you're obviously shifting up and shifting down. In every braking zone, you're shifting back down to first and using the engine braking. It's really important with the first for pickup, also for getting the cart stopped. So it's always on the nose.
So you've got those brakes on the front as well, which gives it a different karting handling characteristic.
Yeah.
But you're also using the gearbox to slow that in a straight line.
Sure. So typically we have the brake bias 60% forward, 40% to the rear. We play around a bit as the grip comes in and goes off. But you really do need the engine braking, so it's a matter of smashing it back down through the gearbox, and your RPM will shoot up. It sounds terrible, but when you exit the corner, mid and exit, the engine's already on the up,
Right.
so you pick up that bit quicker.
So it's that element, those two ratios are giving you that ability to keep that engine buzzing around.
Yeah. Also, yeah, you need to be able to obviously maximise your braking into the corner, but always with a view mid and exit is where you really need to make the difference, and that's where your shifting is really important.
Now, on a non-gearbox kart, the solid rear axle, without the differential, has always given a kart a different way of handling it out on the track. And it's all about getting it to rotate.
Correct.
So you can't do that on the rear brakes on one of these. So how do you get the kart to turn in then?
So I always, whenever I explain it to younger drivers, for me it's always about controlling the slide, because if you imagine the rear is always solid, so it always wants to go a little bit. You get a tiny amount of jacking, but it won't stay up like a senior, for example. It will go up and come down again. And then that can affect your exit speed. So you really want to avoid that up and down, and it just bogs and you don't get the pickup.
Do you find that you're having to drive it a lot more from where I'm going to be sitting? I'm going to see a lot more smoother driving from the DD2 grid than I will be on a Senior Max.
Yeah, I don't think you can be as aggressive as you go into the corners. Certainly when you watch the juniors and seniors go in, they really throw it in.
Yeah.
The rear is always a bit loose, and they like it that way. But if you start sliding with the DD2, you just get no exit whatsoever.
Is there anywhere here on the track here at Allen where you kind of need that gear, the 1.5 before you get to second kind of thing? Is there any way where you think I need before you know it, you've got a 7-speed box, haven't you?
It's more the 2.5 than the 1.5. So I mean the first gear ratio is always pretty good, but when you get the longer straights, you want a bit more top. So that's when the ratio differs.
Right, brilliant. Tony, that's why I sit in the commentary box, mate, and leave all the hard work to you guys. DD2, really technically interesting. You know I'm a geek.
One of the big bits of news in the off-season over here in Abu Dhabi and Dubai is the creation of the JNKD team. Now, I'm standing here with Jeremy Montgomery-Swan. Jeremy, you were third in last year's Senior Rotax Championship, but driving for a different team. You're one of a number of drivers that have come over to what is possibly the most impressive setup I've seen in the UAE paddock.
Yeah, I would say so.
Now, tell us a little bit about it. So, Ben Karachkovic, he was the only driver running under JNKD last year. He's the reigning Micromax champion, but this is a very European-style setup. Tell us a little bit about what every single driver has got as part of their support network here.
So we've all got a coach, so we all do data and GoPro after our sessions, no matter what. We can either do that collectively or by yourself, but it's really up to the driver. Obviously, it's a very professional setup, so we don't really have many technical errors or mechanical flags, which I think is pretty good.
So, I mean, let's have a look, for example. So, Paul Schutzman's kart here. He's got his own mechanic, he's got his own tool bench, so that's important in as itself, isn't it? So the mechanic for each driver is never going around looking for bits and bobs. They've got everything they need right there.
Yeah, as long as they have their own space, they can just crack on with what they need to do, and then there's no delays.
Now let's have a little wander over to your go-kart, because this year you have moved on to a Kart Republic, have you not?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the Kart Republic. I'll come this side. You show them. Right. So new chassis, Kart Republic. You've got your mechanic there. Do you want to give your mechanic a quick name check?
Bobby, you all right?
This is Bobby hard at work. Talk a little bit about the chassis.
To be honest, I really like the chassis, especially around here. It's quite soft, so it's easy to make technical changes to and put mechanical grip into the kart, which is really helpful when the track's not as good. Like say there was a sandstorm overnight and we've come to quali, we can easily put more grip into the kart if we need to help us in quali. But so far I'm really enjoying the Kart Republic. It's just enjoyable.
Now, in addition to yourself, obviously you've got Win and Zev Godchalk. They're here from Curaçao. Paul Schutzman, William Mazzali. You plenty of drivers who did well last year. In addition to Benjamin Karachkovic, Leo Aina. In senior though, you're the lead driver in the senior class. How much help are you giving to the less experienced drivers now that you're one of the more experienced drivers in the team?
Well, when I have some free time and the juniors are watching their GoPro or some of the minis, then I'll go over, watch, point out a few things that I know as a driver that can help them improve and become a bit smoother, which will make them quicker overall. So it's really all about just helping everyone each weekend to help us develop as a team and get the results we want.
Now, of course, with having a lot of drivers in one team, that means there's a lot of families, a lot of supporters, and you need somewhere for them to relax and refresh themselves. Take us through to the JNKD Hospitality Department, which is a first here in the UAE.
Well, first we're going to have to go outside and go round.
Go outside and go around. We can just sneak through behind there, can't we? Yeah, that's it's better for the camera this way. Come on, we'll walk backwards. So, Ash Dia, who was Benjamin Kratchkovich's mechanic last year, Ash, along with Alfonso Skrichka and Matthew Hopcraft from the UK, have been brought on board. Paul Munn as well, another very experienced name. Matthew, talk a little bit about how crazy the last 6 months has been setting this up from nothing.
If I'm honest, I was in GGM before, so I haven't done a lot of the setting up in here, but it's only like the last month I've been in JNKD and trying to set everything up, but this is a better man to ask, to be fair.
We'll bring Fonzie Skrichka in because Alfonso was. We're talking a little bit about your man Matthew here has dropped you in it a little bit. You talked about when I left you guys here in May. This didn't exist. None of it existed, and here we are in September, and it's one of the most impressive awnings I've seen anywhere. What has the amount of work been like, recruiting the drivers, recruiting the staff, and then getting the equipment up to race-winning level?
Well, I thought the hard part was getting the whole team set up. Took a long time to do, and a lot of thinking, organisation, and obviously waiting for shipments to come in. Staff was another issue, obviously. We got Matthew Hopcraft, that everybody knows. Took some persuading to get him into the team. But with a little bit of a helping hand, he soon swiftly come. The drivers, to be fair, we had a few which were confident in us from last season that we got great results in micro mini, and then we proved with a few junior drivers what we can do over the last couple of races last season. And then obviously we had a few senior come over. We got Jeremy, we got Remy, who's just signed up in senior. So yeah, I think we've got about 14 drivers now, so yeah. Wasn't what I expected to go that big that quickly, but yeah, it's a good turnaround in the end, and yeah, happy with how everything's all gone.
Excellent, thank you very much, Alfonso. Jeremy, come on, let's introduce us to the hospitality department. We'll let Nick on the camera come through there. We'll try and avoid the jig setup. So you've got jig, the data. So Jeremy, this is one of the drivers' best tools to have in your locker, isn't it? The data banks that you can go through after every session.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we've got a track map with all different tracks on it from the UAE. Clearly, we've got 3 big screens, so we can do mini, junior, and senior all at the same time in case there was a delay, so we have more time to do it. We can all watch camera at the same time because there's just that availability that can be used for us. So I think it's very beneficial having a pretty big data station like that in the paddock.
And it's also pretty beneficial having industrial-sized fans and heaters. But if we go around behind us, so I mean, obviously, Jeremy, being VIPs, well, being not very VIP, I'm not allowed in there. It's quite rightly so as well. But this is the VIP section for the hospitality, the parents. Okay, so Jeremy's going to come over. Jeremy, I'm going to have to. I don't do climbing over barriers anymore. Tell us a little bit about, stay by here, but talk a little bit about how important it is that families have somewhere to rest, and also drivers as well.
Obviously, it's important to rest after a session, especially in this heat. You can get pretty tired and pretty hot. Yeah. So just have a sit down on the sofa like Leo, sit by the AC, cool down, and just prepare for your next session. Obviously, it's nice to have all the parents in here socialising. It just brings everyone a bit closer as a team, so there's no toxic relationships between anyone.
One question. That was a full drinks cabinet earlier. Who's been stealing all the drinks?
I think a bit of everyone, to be honest. I think we're all Rather thirsty today.
Rather Thursday. Well, there we go. In a remarkable 6 months, the JNKD team have appeared from one driver to the most impressive team here in the paddock. 14 drivers, hospitality unit, lots of European influences. Jeremy, the next question is they've got to get wins under their belts, haven't they?
I've got that covered this weekend.
Well, there we go. Tune in to see if Jeremy comes good on his promise.